All right, well, this is Back to the Brotherhood with Harold Hanuman, featuring star athlete Lucas Johnson of the Cutest Show on Turf, The Nail, Andrew Nolan, Bootleg Chris Long, Corey Rouse. All right, guys, so going back into last year, at the end of the year, there was doubts you were losing players, and going into this year that we were going to be in a rebuilding team as the Cutest Show on Turf. How did you guys approach those rumors and take them on as leaders of the team?
Unfortunately, it's a reality. Every team's going to face it eventually. You're going to lose a lot of players aging out. You're going to lose some to injury, some just to life itself. And just one thing's going to happen, or eventually that core group of young guys are going to have to come in and take over the team and figure out the roots.
Yeah, and that was something that we were kind of prepared for leading into last year, is because we knew a lot of our leaders were already in their last year as it was, and some came back that didn't want to. So we knew that we were going to be losing the guys to age and then to life and the rest of the works of the way it goes. So it's the way it goes, and took it head on.
That's just sort of a reality of football, that you're going to lose a bunch of guys every year, and the mark of a good team is the ability to bounce back year after year, no matter how many guys you lose. And we're sitting at 4-1 on a 4-game win streak, so I think we've rebuilt fairly well.
Good answer. So, LJ, I heard some insider information going into the start of this year that you were set up playing receiver, and you were kind of thrust in the QB1 slot due to some certain situations that we're not going to talk about on this. How did you approach the being thrown into that QB1 spot and becoming a leader and getting that team behind you this year?
I mean, I played quarterback my whole life. When I came to this team, I came with the sort of attitude that I'm just going to play wherever I'm needed. It's not about me anymore. It's about the team. So I thought I was going to be needed as a receiver. I thought that's where I could make the biggest impact. Things happened. That wasn't a reality anymore. We needed me at quarterback. And at the end of the day, I'm not playing for me at this point. I'm playing for the team. If they want me at quarterback, I'll throw the ball as much as they want.
Respect that answer. Andrew, this question's for you. There's been talk around the league for years about your helmet. There's missing chips of paint year after year, and the assumption is with the missing chips of paint is that you're a dirty player around the league, that you like to lead with your head. I'm giving you this opportunity to address everybody that thinks you're a dirty player around the league and what you have to say to them as opposed to your helmet in that situation.
Well, the irony of it is that helmet is a black helmet to begin with. I sent it back to Riddell to get painted. Most of that paint, 90% of that paint was lost in the first 2 weeks of practice to our own players, and I'm sure if you go around the room and ask, there's nobody in the queue that's going to say that I'm targeting heads at practice. But that's what people see out there. It's the first thing that you notice on the field for me, and I'm involved in well over half the hits on every game. So when you're part of every single hit, it's easy to point the finger at the guy that looks the worst. And I've always been playing a play that plays to the edge, so I push that edge all the time. So if sometimes I cross it, it's easy to point the finger at the helmet first.
Perfect. All right, Corey, this one's for you. I heard that you had your playing O-line days behind you. You were kind of prepared to play some defensive line, maybe even some tight end. And last year you got thrust into like the mix as a backup lineman, and this year you had to take over the full-time center role, which is kind of like the quarterback of that O-line. How has that transition been for you, being one of the smaller guys on the line?
I know it's not too bad of a transition. I mean, as soon as I came over here, same thing as LJ said, I was prepared to play anything. And I told Mills from the get-go when I signed up with this club that put me wherever, I'm going to be a factor whatever I do. And I think being center, and especially being by far the smallest lineman in this league, guaranteed anyone can outweigh me if they want. It's one of those things where, it helps a lot with the younger guys coming in, because there's some young lineman who comes in here thinking he's going to be worried about it, and he sees me at center. So that's a factor in. I don't mind it. It's nice. It's chill. I mean, got to take over your big shoes, so it's
only a size 14. You're good.
It's a little hard to go with. Though.
All right, guys. So we're gonna finish this off with this. Very well could be the last year for the Cutest Show on Turf. I mean, LJ, you're off to grad school next year. You're about to do big things. Andy, you're gonna become a journeyman electrician. Congratulations, Corey. You just got engaged. What do you guys want to take away from your time here with the Cutest Show on Turf over the past 4 years? And what do you guys want to be remembered for as the major show, Cutest Show on Turf?
The one thing that I want to take away the most is the brotherhood-like bond that we built between a bunch of guys, a bunch of misfits from all over the city, from Steinbach to other areas that don't have clubs, is that we became this really close-knit family, that it didn't just become about the football. It became hang around 30, 40 minutes after practice, just hanging out with your buddies, whatever. When I think about the Cutest Show on Turf, I think more of the bond more than the reputation or whatever else it is. I take it as that bond that we built together, and I think it's something cool that I've been able to wear that title all the way through. And obviously it's one of those things that's going to die eventually, but I think it's pretty cool that we brought it from a funny little joke to something that we've been saying loud and proud for the last 3-4 years. So
for sure.
Yeah, well, it's one of those things where, however many years from now, when I eventually got a kid who's playing at this club, like, I want to sit back, remember the good old times here. And a lot of the young guys coming here at the same thing. They came here from other clubs. They want to win a championship. But a lot of guys don't come into this room knowing what this team actually means. It takes them a few weeks to finally realize that, maybe even a year. Once they realize the bigger picture of coming into this locker and what it means, they'll understand. Like, there's guys who have the CSOT tattooed on them. There's guys who live for this, and it's one that's a lot more special than just football. Like, we're there for each other all the time, through family, sickness, anything. Like, it's more than football.
Yeah, I think for me personally, it's not really football at this point. It goes beyond that. It's sort of the lessons you learn on the field, how to bounce back after adversity, how to battle through challenges and things like that, as well as learning to sort of sacrifice for someone else, get rid of all the selfishness in your body and realize there are things out there other than you, and football helps teach you that, because there's 12 guys on the field at a time. If you're just worried about yourself, you're not going to win games. A team of individuals doesn't win games. So what I take away is just that, the bonds, and then hopefully what I've left behind, no matter what they call themselves next year, the years after. I don't care if they call themselves the cutest show on turf. It could have died 3 years ago for all I care. What matters is the sort of bonds that come with it. So it doesn't matter what they call themselves, so long as future generations remember that it's not about wins and losses. It's about who you are when you play and the bonds that you create and the lessons you learn. It doesn't matter what they call themselves.
Cool. Thank you guys very much for your time. This was Back to the Brotherhood, Cutest Show on Turf edition with Harold Hanuman.